Welcome back to Charting Stack, where we talk to the people building the future of mobility. Today, we're joined by Netzah Sadeh, CEO and co-founder of PNY, the team behind Ponie P2, an electric cargo motorbike built specifically for last mile work. With a huge focus on the payload, storage, and a daily uptime, Netzah, it's great to have you here today on Charting Stack.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
We would like to start up with kind of just asking you why PNY exists and what problem you're actually solving. So before we get into the actual product, what made you start the company? What made you start PNY in the first place?
All right. It's a combination of two things. 16 years ago, I was a student and I used to do delivery riders, to pay for tuition. And, it always, you always find yourself missing like a place to put additional bag or something because there was not enough room. So this is one. Fast forward the COVID 2020, we were locked in house. We locked in our house, and we were starting to order everything to our house. And in cities, as you increase the volume of deliveries, you increase the congestion and the traffic jams, and all of the regular scooters that are used to deliver food mainly now needs to deliver much more heavier stuff, and it's a challenge. So we thought to ourselves, what if, regular scooter were designed to carry one or two people with a small bag? What if we will design from scratch a two-wheeler that can, first of all, be based on the capability of carry lots of weight and then carry a rider or two, or a rider and a passenger. So this was the first idea that gave us the ambition to start and build the Ponie.
Yeah, I mean, our listeners are gonna see the product as we talked before, jumping on in recording. Looks super interesting. Something that you don't see often in the industry. How it was designed. So definitely an original idea from your end. So you said you're building something that doesn't really exist today, right? It is something that doesn't really exist today. It's a kind of a new category. So it's something between an e-bike and a van. So you said you are attacking that kind of a gap. You are uh, trying to break the whole traffic jam problem. So can you tell us a bit more about the idea? Is there something like actually like what's the actual product like? Okay, when I say
Yeah,
between cargo and a bike, but how would you put it in your words?
you see, to me, when the COVID started and packages are becoming larger and larger, so there was like a movement from regular electric bicycles to cargo bicycles. So we saw this shift, like more advanced e-cargo bicycle, and we thought it will make a lot of sense if we will do the same transition for scooters. In scooters, in motorcycles, you don't have a commercial motorcycle designed for cargo. You don't have like a pickup truck of a two-wheeler, and that was the idea. We saw that if we will manage to accommodate a large cargo on a footprint of a two-wheeler, which is a motorcycle, so it's not a bicycle that in some cases can cause traffic jams in bicycle lanes, because e-cargo bike are 1 meter width in most of them. And, then there is a problem. And also they can travel up to 25 kilometers per hour. So if we can do two things, one, still keep our motorcycles riding on roads, but on the other hand, if we will have enough capacity, we are able to decrease the numbers of vans that are traveling on the street. So then you can reduce the congestion, but still have more efficiency in delivering packages or goods.
Yeah, actually makes total sense, and definitely, I mean, I can see this being applied to many cities. I mean, I feel like in today's especially I can say from the European perspective. I can see a lot of big cargo vans coming to the old towns of the cities, and it's just a mess. It doesn't work. They're too big. It's taking too much space. Pedestrians are not happy with it. So yeah, awesome. So let's say when you look at the last mile delivery in the cities worldwide, what is the biggest source of wasted time, wasted money when it comes to
But
cargo, in your opinion?
yeah, based on the study that we did and with it, online study and also talking to distribution companies in cities, they are wasting most of the time in going from the warehouse to the city, stacking in traffic jams in congestion. And another thing is they're wasting a lot of time finding a parking space near the address they need to deliver the package. Not to mention they're paying millions of dollars annually for parking fines.
Mm.
So this, I think, what's the source of frustration or wasting resources for logistics companies.
Yeah, parking fines. It's not something they even think. I
Yeah,
was thought, there is some kind of a, they have the exclusion from all the fines. They're kind of okay. They're delivery vans. The laws don't touch them. Kind of. Yeah, very interesting. Philip, please.
yeah. I'd like to talk a bit more about the specs. So, on your site, you say it's 400 liters of storage. I mean, this is something we see in cars, like like a basic car, like 450,
Yes.
400. Like this is huge. 199 kilogram max allowed weight, which is basically the rider plus all the cargo. 100 kilometers per hour, and it's L3E A1 homologation. So just a pop question. Which of these which of these is the real unlock for fleets? I suppose fleets are your main focus right now. So is it the storage, the allowed weight, the miles per hour? So what really, hits the mark with fleets?
I think the one thing that hit the mark is definitely the cargo capacity. As you said, 400 liter, it's something like a small urban car like. So yeah, for definitely, this is the one key element for both for fleet owners and also for individuals who are using the motorcycles for their daily job. So yes, this is the one.
And also, range is real. You have an interesting metric. It says 185 in kilometers in test conditions, 150 in city speed scenarios. So, I mean, that's like no need to charge. You can just charge overnight, from what I see. So, how should an
Exactly.
operator model real range for a full shift? How would it look like if a fleet operator, let's say, took 20 of your motorbikes? How would it look like? So do they charge overnight? Do they have swappable batteries or something like that?
During the design and engineering of the Pony, we worked closely with a few logistics companies. One of them is DHL in Israel. So we analyze exactly what is their requirements of range and packages they want to deliver a day, what they are doing today with the van. And we came to the conclusion that in order for them to operate in a city, they need about 100 kilometers of range and between 200 and 400 liters of cargo capacity, which enable them to double the capacity they can deliver in a single day. Because today, when they are using a car, half of the time the car is spending on going from the warehouse to the city and back to the warehouse, where if they are using Pony, they can get the van to the like a front hub in the entrance of the city, load the ponies with the packages and do the deliveries during the day in like 7-8 hours shifts, and then charge it during night. So this was one scenario. Another scenario, because we assume that there are also individuals that are going to work more hours because they are depending on their income based on the numbers of hours they are working. So if they will look to work more hours, they need an option to charge the Ponie faster. So on our Ponie, we have two types of charger. You have like a regular charger that it takes about 9 hours from 0 to 100 percent. And you can use the fast charger, which is external, still using a regular home outlet, but it can give you from 0 to 100 in 2.5 hours. So let's say if you are walking half a day, spending 70, 80 kilometers, by 1 hour resting, you can get another 70, 80 kilometers of range. So you can keep walking all day.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think the scenarios in which the battery drops to zero is, I don't know if the battery
Yes,
ever drops to zero. Like, you don't charge at zero. Like
yes, correct.
even the slow charging option is perfect for overnight. Let's say you're on 20% and you want to charge to like 95, you can do it with no
Yeah,
issue, it seems.
yeah, 6 hours.
Also, could you talk us maybe through the core hardware choices? So you have 72 volts, 6.7 kilowatt CATL battery. So that's the Chinese CATL battery, 4 kilowatts motor, ABS, 7-inch display. So could you tell us what did you prioritize here, and what did you deliberately keep simple?
In general, the Ponie is designed to be a simple machine in order to give the users the ability to, in case there is a problem, it will be an easy fix. Unlike regular scooters, you need to tear apart half scooters to replace a part. Here, everything, all the screws are visible to you. It's part of the aesthetics of the design. And we chose to prioritize durability and usability on, let's say, aesthetics and gadgety wise, whatever. So
Yeah,
we chose 6.7 kilowatt hour battery, which is, I think it's double than the standard regular two-wheeler
yeah,
today. And the reason is that we want to give the rider an option to work a full day without the need of looking for an outlet to charge or to look for a battery to be replaced. And another thing is, when we chose to have a fixed battery, we were able to locate the battery at the bottom of the frame. So you have a very low center of gravity, so you can handle the motorcycle very easily. So this was like the idea behind the battery. The motor, we chose to use 4,000 watts, which gives 70 Newton meter of torque. For example, for a regular 125cc gasoline scooter, usually they have about 10 or 15 Newton meter of torque. So you have a lot of power to get, to get first from the traffic light. You always have enough power with or without the cargo. So this was the idea behind the motor. And ABS, because we believe that if someone is choosing to work as a rider, either it's a fleet or individual, safety is something that should be like top priority. We don't want accidents to happen, and it's not necessarily only the fault of the rider. There are a lot of
yeah.
surprises when you are riding a motorcycle. So we want to give them like an extra feature to give them more safe riding.
It's
Awesome. So,
really
so
heavy duty machine. Like it really is.
Thank you.
yeah, so kind of like putting all these great tech features kind of aside, you talk about a cargo power as an idea, as a better metric than a horsepower for delivery work. So can you tell us a bit what actually are you measuring, and why does cargo power
Mhm.
matter?
Yeah, when we started, when we started to deploy the ponies, and we start to, talking to people to explain them the use, like what is unique about the pony. So we saw that, talking about specifications is a bit, boring, and it takes more time. So we have decided we will follow the idea of the horsepower, which is like a simple way to measure the machine usable work capacity. When they invented the machines, they want to emphasize that one machine can replace a work of 10 or 15 horses. So this is like 10 horsepower. So on the same equation, we said, okay, if we'll take the cargo power and we say, we will measure your carrying capacity multiplied by the distance you can do on a day, divided by your cost of ownership per kilometer. Now, when you compare a electric scooter to Ponie, so you have, let's say, you have triple the cargo capacity, double the distance at the same cost. So you are 6 times better than electric regular scooter. And if you are compare it to a gasoline scooter, so you are carrying triple, you do, let's say, the same distance, but your cost is lower than a gasoline. So you can do, let's say, 10 times cargo power.
Mm.
And also you can measure the cargo power also compared to a van in the city. You know, in the van can carry 6-7 times the cargo of a Ponie, but in real life it cannot deliver in a single day 10 times the cargo of a Ponie. So you are paying much more for the cost of the vehicle for similar or less ability of cargo to be delivered.
Mm-hmm. And that was supposed to be my. I was thinking about the next question. Where does kind of Pony fit into, let's say, a cargo van, and then let's say 50 cc, 125 cc delivery bike scooter.
I can tell you that, you know, it depends on the scenarios. Let's say in Israel, there are like air condition technicians that used to work in the city taking the Citroen Berlingo. And with
Mm-hmm.
the Citroen Berlingo, they can carry a lot of goods, but they can accommodate 6, let's say, 6 calls a day, 6 service calls. With the Ponie, they can take all the gears they need and they can do double the calls on a day because they don't have to waste time in traffic or finding a parking lot near their customers. So for those scenarios, it easily can replace a van. And on the other hand, if you are individual, that you are making money with your motorcycle, it will make more sense for you to move to a Ponie where you can save the cost of the gasoline, for example, but more important, you can do much more work on a single day. You can carry much more, you can work more hours. So it's a idea of reducing cost, but more important, increase your efficiency and your income.
Mm-hmm. So when you kind of approach fleets, when you approach someone like DHL, uh, what would they when they talk to you? What would they say is their biggest pain point? Is it actually like do want to just lower the cost, or they have like a specific problem that they're seeing? Maybe now, okay, you are based in Israel, so maybe something in Israel that they're experiencing. But I guess every market is similar-ish. Is it purely a cost of fuel, or as we talk, interesting thing about ticketing, parking tickets, fines more? What how do they react to something like Pony? That's what I wanted to ask. Kind of.
I think Ponie is can answer them like in two directions. One is that, you know, most of the large logistics companies like DHL, UPS, FedEx, they have targets towards zero emission operation in all of their supply chain. So they are already started to switch their vans from diesel to electric. So the first step of reducing emission from the vans already been done. The Ponie actually enabled them not only to lower the emission, but also to improve their efficiency. So at the end of the day, if you are going to measure what was your carbon emission per package, you can decrease it dramatically when you are moving to Ponies. Of course, you know, Ponie cost, let's say, a fifth of a minivan
Mm-hmm.
to purchase, and much, you know, we can say also total cost of ownership will be, let's say, a tenth of a van. So you can look at it also in the perspective of I can save costs, I can increase my efficiency, and I can expedite my transition to zero emission fleets. So this is
Yeah,
what we are offering.
yeah, sounds like a perfect package for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new thing on the market, and it really looks new. It's something I want to talk about. The frame and
Thank you.
chassis look like the heart of the product. So you
Correct.
mentioned the patented chassis and the low center of gravity since the battery is at the bottom. Uh, I suppose you had to, you had to arrive to that conclusion somehow. So what did you learn the hard way there? It was
you
a
know,
journey, just to place the battery at the bottom. I'm sure it wasn't the first idea.
it's when we started. It's a thing that when you are starting to design anything but a vehicle, so you are starting from what what components you must have in order to have a vehicle. So you need to have wheels, you need to have battery, you need to have motor. You need to have like specific elements. But the advantage is that when you are starting from scratch, you are not a well-established two-wheeler manufacturer that did a lot of gasoline and now wants to switch to electric. So you put the batteries below the seat and the motor, you have constraints. We didn't have any constraints. So what we did, and my partner, Roy Greenfeld, he is an Israeli that lives in Shanghai, and he very gifted and very good designer and engineer of a vehicle, graduate from Italy. So he was able to say, okay, let's say if we want to have all those components, but we have a clean page. So to get a good stability, you need low center of gravity. So let's have a battery at the lowest part we can. If we want to leave more room for cargo, we can use hub motor, which is already on the rear wheel. So you don't need to have room for motor. And then, so on. And then we started to position the components. And then we found like, okay, this is the space that we have, that we need to connect all those parts together. And we started to design the frame. And the idea was how we can have a solid frame, which is actually, we managed to have a uni-frame. It's like one frame that it's for the entire motorcycle, unlike other motorcycles or scooters that you have a frame and a subframe. So it's one frame, very strong, very durable, with all the components. And this was, as you said, it's hardware. So it's not, you not only have to do it on the computer, you need to prototype it, you need to build some prototypes, and you need to test it, and you need to jump with it, and you need to load it with the 250 kilos of cargo, to go to the extreme to see that it's handling well. So yeah, this took us, I think, most of the time during the process of the development of the pony.
Yeah, so it seems like it's a months long process, like maybe 6 months, 12 months, 24 months.
Yes,
Like we've
yes.
talked to a few moped and electric motorcycle producers, manufacturers, and as you said, this is like the make it or break it time. Like if it fails, it fails. But if it doesn't, it's gonna take a long time. And when it happens, it's gonna be huge. It reminds me of Soul Motors. I know Marin remembers. They also, like you, created a new category called no pad, which is no pedal vehicle. It looks it looks funny but cool. I don't know how to explain it. I'll have to send it later. Uh, Also, what I wanted to ask is now that you mentioned you needed to stress test the vehicle, and of course you need to fill the cargo load, you need to fill it with some kilos, and you need to drive. So when you're carrying real weight in dense traffic, what makes Pony safe? Like you said, you have ABS, but is it the braking, the stability because the battery is at the bottom? Is it the ergonomics, the visibility for the rider? So how did you make sure that Pony is really safe?
Yeah, I think what you said, what makes the pony safe, it's not the brakes, it's the design. If the frame designed properly, so with the weight, the let's say the pony itself, it's 155 kilos, and then the rider is another, let's say, 80, and then you are adding another 100 kilos of cargo. So what gives the rider the, let's say, the essence that the pony is safe for him to ride, it's the the weight distribution, that you have a lot of weight below your legs, so it's easier to handle. The riding position, you are sitting like it's a like a motorcycle, so you hug the motorcycles with your leg. It gives you more stability and better maneuvering the motorcycles, unlike a scooter when you're sitting with your legs one next to the other. So you can feel a whole with the motorcycles, and gives you confidence that you can ride it safely. I think this is like the key element for the Ponie compared to other solutions.
Yeah, and also something that's really interesting, and that I really like is that you implement stuff after collecting feedback. Like in one of the trial write-ups, you mentioned feedback like better long shift seat comfort or fast charging option to support maybe 2 shifts. So what's next? So what are you changing next based on rider feedback? Like how does that feedback loop work for Pony?
Because we are every time we have a pilot with the customers, we have like a dedicated WhatsApp group that we are in communication 24/7 almost, so we can get to know their feedbacks immediately and to support them. So it helps us to understand what we need to pay attention to. I can tell you that other than improving the seat to make it more comfortable with a little bit more of back support if you are riding many hours, the fast charger that we're already implementing, which is working very well. And another thing that we are working to add is regenerative braking. It's like the ability to slow the motorcycle without using the brakes, and also it gives you a little bit back of battery charging. So and this will helps to reduce the wear of the braking pads, and also will help to get more little, let's say, not much more range, but it can give you, let's say, 10-15% more range. So it can be a win-win in this element.
Yeah, I mean, 10 to 50% of extra range with the regen braking is substantial. Especially when you look at the whole cost, I guess probably on a yearly basis, if you compare the change from without regen braking with, and then compare with the cost with the fuel, it's yeah, it's definitely a great step forward. I want to kind of ask you, maybe deploying. So let's say, what are the bottlenecks, operational bottlenecks, something unexpected you saw in pilots? Is it charging? Is it routing? Is it loading? Or is it something different? Is it learning people how to drive, teaching people how to drive these things?
Yeah, I think um, some scenarios of, let's say, of packages deliveries. So you have a certain size of packages, and then you need to adjust the way you are sorting your packages, because you are not going to put them in a van which you have a lot of room. You have like a very specific room. So the bottleneck is how you improve your sorting process to be able to give each pony the specific amount of packages it can take at the right size. So this is one thing that we are working on. And another thing is it's for let's say grocery delivery. In grocery, the challenge is that you have a lot of time. You have things that are very bulky in weight, in volume, but very light in weight, like toilet
Mm-hmm.
papers, for example. But then
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, you have like the bottles of water. So you need to have a process where when someone is ordering a grocery online, you need to in advance arrange the packages in a way that you can have the heavy things below the rider and the volume stuff behind the rider to keep the pony balanced.
Mm-hmm. And how does a vehicle behave when it's like fully loaded? In your opinion, like how did you resolve this regarding motorcycle? And it's not something that's usual. Car, it's a different thing, different technology. But when you have two wheels, how does it feel balancing a fully loaded pony?
I can tell you that if you are loading the pony with 100 kilos of cargo, we have some customers that are carrying about 30 batteries of swapping stations for a shared bicycle. So they are carrying 30 batteries, which is like almost 100 kilos. So once the pony is loaded with 100 kilos, so you need to be more delicate the way you are riding. So it's make it a bit more complicated to navigate between cars, let's say. When you are with less weight, you can do easily. But it's also depending on your, let's say, how long you are riding with the pony, if you already have the confidence to use. But for
Hmm.
definitely, if you have large volume or weight of cargo, you will need to ride a little bit more safer or more cautious.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely makes sense. Just like comparing larger motorcycle to a smaller. But pony is kind of, let's say, we can call it a mid-size bike, right? When you kind of
Yes.
um, what would you say, except we mentioned DHL, we mentioned the postal service. Was there any other experiences you had, so far in your pilots, or some
Yes.
interesting use case maybe you have to share for us?
So yeah, for sure, the technician is a very nice use case that we didn't expect at the beginning. Electricians, air condition, plumbing. We figured out that in some of the cities in Israel, let's say Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or Haifa, when the cities are very crowded, uh, if you are ordering an electrician, he asks you if there is a parking space near your house. This is like one of
Mm,
the criterias if someone will get to you. So when we got some electricians using the pony, they told us that this was a very nice feature for them, that they can carry a lot of weight, a lot of equipment, but they can do calls where with the cars they cannot do. So this is a use case we find very nice. We also have a use case of an ambulance pony for one of the organization in Israel that are helping providing first aid for accidents, or if you are calling an ambulance, so before the ambulance is coming, a motorcycle is coming with a rider to give you like the first response. And it double the excitement that someone can get to you, but with a pony they can carry much more than on a regular motorcycle, so they have more life-saving gear. And also when it's electric, so it's like an added value that they are quiet and they are also sustainable. So this was a very nice use case that we are experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm always very intrigued in the healthcare part of when we cover anything regarding urban micromobility, new mobility space. We had interesting also brands from Belgium, but healthcare is what really interests me. Let's say delivering blood samples, because I was looking at the statistic the other day, and most of blood samples, urgent organs that are being transported are still being transported by the what's that? I forgot the name of the vehicle. It's the emergency vehicle.
Yeah,
With the vans. But if you could,
the
yeah, if you could have
interesting.
a pony.
Yeah, but
Yes.
if you, I don't know, Netzach, maybe you saw that probably. Zero Motorcycles, like the world's leading EV motorcycle brand, they already do stuff like that. Like they have it's something called Serve Blood Bikes. So it's
Hmm.
something they've been running for years now. So they do urgent blood deliveries and other hospital the deliveries via motorcycles, and it's been going on for so long. And like it's it's one of their trump cars. Like they are in the government. Like the government is using their products. Like the army uses it, the police uses it, but the emergency stuff, like the ambulance, the first responder stuff. So as Marin said, like it's the biggest stuff. That's kind of the biggest plus, the biggest point. If you can prove that your product can help save lives, like that's
Yeah,
that's
Yes, I
yeah.
agree.
I mean, if the emergency vehicle is stuck in the traffic, nothing you can do. I mean, okay, they can turn on their sirens, but they're still stuck. But pony can just bullet through and just yeah, that's very interesting point. Um, Let me just circle back to maybe talking about the market. Where you what are you aiming first? So you've described it kind of like a classic automotive model, selling through distributors, plus the revenue from the parts and of course accessories. What would you say that is a right approach right now for you?
You know, when we started, you know, it's a full-time job to design, to invent, let's say, a new type of vehicle. So you have a lot of things to take care of. Um, on the other hand, there are a lot of already well-established distributors worldwide that knows how to sell and how to market and how to service vehicles or motorcycles. So we put our efforts in making sure that the Ponie is the most efficient and reliable tool for the purpose of cargo in a city. And we are working with well-established distributors that knows how to import and sell and service the vehicle, because, you know, it's not only selling the motorcycles. You need to sell and to be able to provide the entire infrastructure to support the, you know, the everyday use of it. So we chose to do this because we think that we don't need to, and we don't have the resources to do everything from scratch. And to be honest, there is no need to do it if there are already big players that are doing it very well.
Yeah, of course. Why take too much? Why lose a resource of time on doing learning something yourself, trying trial and error when you have someone who is perfectly well
Yeah.
positioned
Exactly.
in that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Meyer was your one of the earliest distributors, right?
Yes.
And you, before we even started this podcast, we were talking about this very topic, and so you mentioned the interest across both Eastern and Western Europe and Latin America, since you're already in Mexico. So, when we say distribution readiness, what does that actually mean for a cargo motorbike like this? So, is it the service, the parts, the financing, or something else? So, how does that work with distributors?
I think that, you know, cargo motorbike, it's a new term, but in the end of the day, it's a motorbike. So,
Yeah.
and when you are working with a well-established distributor like Meyer in Israel and some that we are already in discussion in other countries, um, let's say the key factor for us is that this distributor has the knowledge or the customer base of fleets, that, you know, companies that are buying fleets or companies that are using electric or non-electric two-wheelers for their everyday job. So a readiness of a distributor for us is someone that is already knows how to service motorcycles, but also has a good footprint in the, let's say, commercial segment of customers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I figured. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. It sounds good because if someone's already good at selling motorbikes, what's another motorbike going to sell? But yeah, it's a special one. Uh, so I'd like to ask, what would you say? Who's the ideal first buyer profile? So would it be a big fleet, like something for a fleet floating stuff, or a postal operator, supermarket chain, some independent couriers, maybe? So who's the first
Uh,
one you're going at?
I think, you know, to be honest, we want to, like, the easiest way to deploy many ponies is to go with a company that has a fleet, whether is a logistics fleet or grocery fleet. Um, the thing is that in most, at least what we learned recently, most of the fleets are, at the end of the day, are uh, owned, the motorcycle owned by the rider, and the company that runs the fleet not necessarily hire or buying the motorcycle for the rider. So it looks like that our preferred customers are fleets that are buying motorcycles, but we are also, with the help of the distributor, can offer a good financing program for individuals that want to have a Ponie replace their regular scooter. So it's I can say that, you know, Wolt or Glovo or, you know, all the food delivery that are no longer just the food, they are delivering everything. So also for
Mm.
them,
Yeah.
for them it will be a plus if the riders will have a Ponie. So now we are trying to be attractive for everyone who is walking on a two-wheeler.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head here, like World Glow and other similar services. Like, yeah, they used to deliver food, which can be bulky in volume, but not so much in weight. But now they do everything. So yeah, and even that bag they have, it's not even close to 400 liters. Like
Mhm.
it's not even close.
Yes.
It really seems like a good fit. I think I haven't noticed if those Volt or Glovo riders need to have their own vehicles. I don't think they do, but maybe it differs from market to market. But if they don't, if the Volt or Glovo buy it, so I think that's like the perfect fit for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. We are working, you know, we are trying to get people from Wall to see if we can make something with them.
Okay, so people from Volt, please do something.
Tune
Yes.
Oh,
in. Wake
Tune
tune
up.
in.
in. Thank you.
So,
um, Regulation, right? You are homologated as L3E A1, which is of course a big deal if you want to scale in the EU. Uh, what did certification constrain in design, and what did it enable to be in this category? How did you fit your category in this vehicle in this category?
To be honest, you know, it's very helpful when you have like a guidebook telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do if you want to have a homologated vehicle. So for us it was very helpful, you know, to read the manual to understand which size of motor, what's the weight that we can do, what's the geometries that we need to have, what's, you know, the specification of the lights. So for us it was very easy because, you know, if you want to design something new that will eventually will go in the current let's say current structure, so you need to work with it, and if you have rules, so it's easier for us to give our uniqueness of the Ponie with the strict of the, let's say, the book that we need to follow all the rules and specification. So for us it was good to have it.
no, it's
Okay,
really
so
cool. This, like, I'm sorry, Marin, but uh,
yeah.
said yeah, like you had those constraints, and it's cool and it's nice how you say it was helpful rather than maybe a pain in the ass because you need to follow all these rules and you need to throw out your design you had before and you need to adjust it and you need to change it. But it's like when you're closed in a box, and that's where most creativity happens. Like you need to create something that fits. So how are you gonna do it? And you guys did it. So I love that approach.
Thank
I
you.
love that mindset actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we hear a lot on our podcast, and especially someone who invents a new category. And people are, when we go to fairs, when we go to some kind of conferences, everybody is, especially in Europe, because we are so strict when it comes to everything. They're looking at the concepts and being like, can they homologate it? Is this going to even end up on the market? I mean, looks cool, but you know
Mhm.
maybe we are too pessimistic, but I'm definitely glad. I'm definitely glad you managed to do it easily. Let's say talk a bit, maybe a bit more about the future. Something interesting. I don't know if you thought about it, but let's say picturing a Ponie 2, P2 in the future, or let's say an upgraded version, a refreshed 2.0. What are the top three improvements, upgrades you're chasing to implement?
I think we have our pipeline of improvements that we are working on. the good thing is once you get a feedback from your customers, it helps you to make sure that you are going to improve what's it's important for the user, not necessarily what you want to improve for the sake of improving. I can tell you that from the feedbacks we got so far, it looks like we will have to have let's say a stronger version of the Ponie P2 in terms of battery capacity and motor strength. Like let's say we will probably will have to offer a pony that can go up to 130 kilometers per hour for about 250 kilometers. So we will have to work on the hardware side of it. As we said earlier about the regenerative braking, something which is also we are working on. We are also working on a swappable batteries version of the pony for for areas or cities that people living in houses that they don't have access to outlets outside they can charge it. So we are working to switch the pony to have a swappable battery option. It of course it gives us a lot of challenges in terms of how we are going to locate the battery. That will be on one hand easy to replace, but on the other hand won't impact the handleness of the motorcycle. And other than the motorcycles itself, we are working toward adding more accessories, different types of boxes, of hooks and accessories. It depends on the use case of the riders.
Okay, so the base is that's the base. The base is good. The base works. Just make it something more powerful, more durable, and with a bigger range. Interesting question I have for you. What are your thoughts on? We kind of talk about this with everybody. What are your thoughts on Verge motorcycles and Donut Lab? And there is Pony going to have a solid state battery from Donut Lab in the future? Or if I don't know if you
Why
have
not?
read about it. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, actually, I reach out to them to see, what's the offer.
Mm,
We are buying motors and batteries from other suppliers. If we can
of
buy
course, yeah.
from them, it will be great. The thing is, if they're open for business, I will try to reach out again. But yeah, for sure, it's solid state. Even it will not, if it cannot necessarily have to be donut. I guess once it's
Mm-hmm.
out there, we believe that in BYD or CATL will be able to offer such solutions, in the near future. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Should we?
you already have CATL batteries. Like, I mean, I've been tracking CATL for quite some time, more than a year, and like what they have done in the just last year is incredible. Like, it's the battery technology is increasingly just getting better and better. I think the cost dropped like 1,000 times in the last 5 years. What? So yeah, I think it's not a stretch to say that CATL and BYD could have their own solid state batteries by maybe 2030. Who knows?
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Sorry, Marion, I interrupted.
No, 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 no. Of course. No, I kind of wanted to kind of conclude this part of the interview. I think we kind of talked about everything about the plans, the product itself. So we can kind of jump in the quick fire round where we ask you a quick question and you give us even a quicker answer. The first one would be, what is the most? That's how we describe it usually. What is the most misunderstood assumption about last mile delivery vehicle?
I think it's that not every vehicle is good for last mile delivery.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so okay, it's an interesting answer. Uh, what would you say for the next question? What do you think is one feature you think every scooter should have, but most don't?
ABS.
Perfect. The most overrated metric in micromobility marketing.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
It's a one metric that's being communicated by the brands that's not that important, but they use it as a leverage to sell
I
their
mean,
products.
uptime is important.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, I think maybe everybody's telling that they're electric, but I think it's obvious today. So
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
it should be obvious.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, yeah.
metric
True.
itself. Like, is it electric? Yes. So metric concluded.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The next one would be, what's, in your opinion, what's a city where cargo motorbikes like yours could work like instantly?
Cities that are based on culture of two-wheeler today.
Okay. So do you have
Mm-hmm.
any idea which those could be?
Paris.
Brazil, Mexico, Latin America for sure, Asia
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, like Thailand, maybe Vietnam. They're so big on two-wheelers, like India. India,
India. Yeah, India.
huge
Yeah.
market for
Yeah,
two-wheelers
yeah.
and tuk-tuks.
And the last one would be an optimistic, like let's say something you're optimistic or something you're worried about the next 5 years in urban logistics.
I'm very optimistic for the demand that is going to increase dramatically in the next 5 years for e-commerce. So everybody will need someone to deliver the packages.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
it will be something or not someone. Who knows?
Something, someone, yes.
Yeah,
something, someone. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we
Yeah,
hope, we hope we stay, humans still stay, in the
I'm
loop.
sure. I'm
yes.
sure.
We can hope.
We can hope. Fingers crossed. Well, Netzah, thank you so much for being with us today. Thanks for coming on and breaking down what it takes actually to build something brand new, to build a purpose-built cargo motorbike that can actually survive real delivery work. This has been Charging Stack. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with more content very soon. Thank you, Netzah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.